Okay, it's after 5 o'clock. Everybody take your seat. And I am calling this meeting to order. Can we have a
Roll call.
roll call?
Chairman Anker Jensen.
Here.
Vice Chairman Dr. Joe Hinojosa.
Present.
Treasurer Gerardo Gonzalez. Secretary Liliana Elizondo.
Present.
Board Member Frank Orozco Jr.
Present.
Board Member Ana O'Quinn. Board Member Benjamin Peña.
I'm here.
And for the record, Ms. Ana O'Quinn is excused and Gerardo Gonzalez is not here. Next item, public comment period. There wasn't any public comment registered, Chairman. Next item, consent agenda items. Consideration and action, if any, of the following items. Approval of the minutes of special workshop and regular board meetings. A, regular March 21st, 2024. B, approval regarding the payment of vendor services invoice to the Greater Brownsville Incentive Corporation for the month of March 2024. We need a motion to accept.
Okay, we're at the minutes and special workshop.
Yes.
Any questions, anybody on these? I assume you've all read them.
No, I make a motion to.
Can I have a motion to accept?
Second.
Any questions? Any, Frank? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, the motion passes.
Next item, Greater Brownsville Staff Report.
Oh,
Business Recruitment by Jerry Briones.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this month, we had a total of 9 inquiries. That's including both state RFIs and some site selectors, as well as some real estate agents. Of those, we had 1 inquiry that we are in the process of responding. It's actually going to be at the, well, I don't want to say it's going to be at the Port of Brownsville, but the Port of Brownsville is the one that's responding, and we're facilitating that response to the state. So just real quickly, the negative responses, because I know that we've had some questions in the past, is one was a short time period to respond back to. We had one that was looking for 1,000 acres. We had one that was looking for 20 acres, but it was not fully funded. It had maybe about 30% of what they were looking for. Then we had another one that was a request for 35 acres. That one was kind of interesting because it was to design portable nuclear reactors. So we said no to that one. And then we had another one that was also a quick turnaround. Some of the consultants we responded to were over at the Port of Brownsville, and they're still in the works. So out of the one that we responded to was at the port, and then the port is also working on a different one that we sent over there. I'm sorry. So we did, Brett and I attended several conferences this last month. One was in Nashville, Tennessee, which was April the 3rd through the 5th. That was the Site Selectors Guild. There was about 500 attendees. It was kind of a learning, networking, getting together with a lot of the site selectors, not only nationally, locally in Texas, but also international. There was a lot of opportunities as well as to kind of look at some of the trends that are going on in site selection. And then just last week, we attended Space Symposium, which is the US's largest space-related conference. There was over 10,000 people at that conference. It was held in Colorado Springs at the Broadmoor. It was so dispersed that there was like 3 or 4 different sites where some of the conferences and some of the lessons were being held. That was actually a pretty good event for us because we managed to make about 3 to 4 different contacts. The biggest one was when we visited, and we've visited with them several times, was with the Italian business embassy out of Houston. They introduced us to 3 of the companies they had there from Italy, and one of them is looking forward to making some additional introductions to some of their suppliers in Italy as well. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Tell me about the Hanover, Germany. Is it?
Yes, sir. That starts in, well, we're flying out on Sunday. It starts on Monday, their Monday. That is probably the largest automotive related conference in Europe. We are attending through GBIC, which is the Transatlantic Business Investment Council. They're based out of Berlin. They have about, I want to say maybe about 20 meetings that they've set up for us while we're there. Most of those meetings are within the compound. There were some meetings that they had asked us if we wanted to do offsite. We did not, because we actually have a couple of meetings set up through Research FDI. I will say they're all introductory meetings, because obviously it's not like you're going to strike a deal while you're there, but they are all automotive related, whether it's a second tier OEM or someone having to do with just parts or things of those sorts. But it is one of the largest automotives in Europe. I'd probably say in the US as well. So we're leaving Sunday. We'll get there Monday around 11:15, and then we're coming back on Thursday.
The show only happens every 2 years. So for us to be able to go and introduce ourselves and what we have to help some of these organizations to look at us for onshoring, we had to book it and tackle it now.
Any other questions, sir?
Is that in Munich?
No, it's in Hanover. We actually fly into Frankfurt.
Yeah.
We actually fly into Frankfurt, then take a hop over to Hanover, and then take the train to where the event is actually going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, this is big, and
Yes,
we
sir.
need to be there.
It is huge. In fact, it's in 3 different convention sites. So there's a lot of walking. They said, bring your good shoes.
Yeah.
Now, what is your goal out of this? What are you trying to entice somebody to relocate down here?
In a nutshell, that's probably it right there. And I wouldn't say so much entice, but educate some of the people. All the meetings that were set up is because they showed some interest in expanding into the US. And obviously, it's not just us that's going to be attending with GBIC. There's about 5 other regions. We're the only one from Texas, to be honest. We've got West Virginia, Virginia, a lot of Midwest that probably already have some model. So it's because they've already shown some interest in wanting to, put their toes into the U.S. market, or already have some kind of a facility in the U.S. and are looking to expand, at least by the comments that I read in the meetings that they set up, because they give us a little byline. So we're meeting with XYZ company. This is kind of what they told us, and it's 2 or 3 lines of what they may be interested. So that kind of gives us an idea as to what we can talk to them about. So, I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said, yes, we're going to get them here in 18 months. It's probably a relationship building opportunity, if anything else.
I think one of the things that you need to probably take is where are we located?
Yes, sir.
And the distance between the different hubs that are in like San Luis Potosí, Querétaro, and the distance that it will take to move their merchandise if they're going to be doing something with the automotive industry in Mexico.
Right.
So
Yes, sir. We're actually working on a flyer, on 1-page flyer that we can take with us.
because normally what I've seen in the past, and I don't know what, is that they tend to the distance ends in Ciudad Victoria, and that's nothing. So the hubs are, Puebla is a big, from Germany, that's where they have Audi, that's what they have, Volkswagen. If you go to, I think there's a BMW plant that's being built or it's already running in San Luis Potosí. And then you have in Saltillo, there's several others. So if you put that and you put you're close by your distance to Monterrey, you can probably do a lot of research on automotive that there's and the borders between Reynosa, Matamoros, and then put whatever is in the central part of Mexico, and in Saltillo and Monterrey. I would do that, and the distance and the options that you have.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, is it going to be all in English or German and English?
So we get a lot of stuff in German, but it's quickly translated into English. But the good thing is the people we're going with are guide, so to speak, or our consultants, they're all
Oh,
bilingual.
yeah, they're gonna.
They're all bilingual, so,
People in Germany.
yeah, so we'll,
Yeah, the people in
I
Germany
think-
are bilingual, except that at the obvious American, don't expect them to always understand and read English. I mean,
Yeah.
at least that's one German told me that. Says, don't be an obvious American.
I have my Babbel app on my cell phone, so we'll see how that works.
You have nothing to worry about in Hanover, I can assure you.
There you go, there you go.
Is there a registration fee that we pay for this, or is it?
Yes, sir, there was, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't know the full amounts of it. That's probably an Elsa question, not to pass the buck, but,
Also, do you know how much?
Did you work with, for that flyer? Does our marketing firm, the consultants, do they help with any of that kind of stuff? You know, to incorporate things like what Carla
No.
was pointing out?
not that I know of.
Is that something that they could help us with?
It is. We started creating this one at the last minute. We didn't have a chance to get it over to them. They're still working very heavily on the website and our full set of talking points, you know, the who we are is what we're doing kind of stuff. They're working with Alexa on that quite a bit. So this is a one-hit, one-pager that Jerry and Alexa have been working on. But in the future, yes, we will tell them where we're going, the industries that we're seeking, and then we will tailor our literature to that particular event.
So you would have already, like in the future, you would already have one for automotive,
Yeah.
you know, type of conferences, and you can pull that.
For example, this one here, we could build on, or we can alter a little bit, but it's still going to be, we'll still have more of the direct talking points of the automotive industry that we're, you know, attacking on this particular trip.
Okay. I just
This
always
is our
see
first
that.
trip. I'm sorry.
I just always see the 12,500 a month, so I want to make sure they're working for us.
They are.
The other option that I may recommend, going back of what Liliana just mentioned, is if you can put a QR code linking it to the webpage, specifically to where you want it to land, and those type of industries, when you're going to that helps you a lot because you're targeting a specific market, which is the automotive industry. So if you do it through a QR code that links directly to our webpage, that it has all the information that they're going to need for the future. So I think that's something that you probably can, I don't know if you'll be able
That
to
is
time to
something-
do it.
That is something that we did talk about, Alexa, and I think she just said, we have it. The marketer.
Alexa doesn't have much of a voice.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, so just for that clarification, I work on a flyer already that explains what are the main, well, one pager that explains the main selling points of Brownsville and for coming here to the US. I think you're from a few days. I was working with Jerry a few days. It has a QR code, and when they go to the QR code, it mentions who we are, our website, and of course the social media. And immediately it has the option that if you click, you can call, or you can also click and provide a text message. What I suggested is that if they go in the future, for example, to Mexico, in Mexico, they are not really used to phone calls or emails. We've been noticing that the business over there is through WhatsApp. So in this case, for example, the QR code for Mexico, once they scan it, it will send them directly to a WhatsApp business conversation. So we're just trying to adapt to each of the market and each of the places that they are going.
So again, how many people are going to Hanover?
Just Brett and I, sir.
Who?
Just Brett and I.
Okay. And the tickets are 55.88 down there?
One way.
One. Well, no, that's round trip.
Yes, sir.
I go there all the time, and that's not a bad price.
Because there's, on page 3, there's another.
Yeah, that's why it's, yeah, so it's either one
But
way.
if you get the option, scan. If it's only twice a year.
No problem. That
Yes, sir.
sounds like a good venture.
Anything else, sir? Ma'am?
Any questions? Good job. Good-
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mr. Briones. Board, Ms. De La Riva will be presenting via WebEx. Workforce and Business Development by Carla De La Riva.
Good afternoon, board members. Definitely, I have the great honor to inform you about the great things that have happened during this month at the, in our workforce department. So definitely the number one thing that, we're very proud of is that we're working very closely with TSTC as well as Workforce Solutions Cameron in creating a rigging program. And then this rigging program, it will assist, workers that are going to be located at the Port of Brownsville. Right now, we're working in securing WIOA funding for 32 students. And then, of course, we also included the tools and the supplies. So that way, whenever someone is looking for, a better opportunity for them or something, and they want to enroll into the program, they can go to Workforce Solutions and talk to them, get, a scholarship to be a rigger, and of course, get boots and supplies so that way they can be ready, get the training that they need and then get placed with a job. The funding that we're securing in this process, it's almost $106,000. So of course, that's a huge win for us because, we're working very closely in securing all these funds for, our residents here locally. So opening opportunities for people. That will be for project number 1. Project number 2 is for Rich Products. As you might recall, last year we had the great opportunity to secure $132,000 from a skills development fund, to assist them with training, right? So now this year, of course, we, set up the bar high, and now we're gonna go ahead and excel once again. So right now we're working in partnership with Texas A&M TEACS program, and then we're looking into training 112 employees at Rich Products. As you know, they recently made an expansion. They're going to invest, $118 million here in Brownsville. And of course, they're going to be hiring a lot of people, right? So they're going to need training for that. So through this grant that we're working with Texas A&M, we're looking to train 112 employees in 6 Sigma certification, hydraulics, PLC, electric systems. And of course, all these different trainings have different costs from $700 to $3,000. So the full package that we will have for them, it will be around $267,000 once, we're able to secure the funding, and then we're able to put everybody through training. And of course, this is funding coming from Texas A&M. Next slide. And also, 2 weeks ago, we had the opportunity to host Rally in the Valley, which is the premier internship expo in South Texas. As you remember, we have been doing this initiative for over 2 years, and we always do it in partnership with Texas Workforce Commission. So we partner up with the state as well as the city of Brownsville, Workforce Solutions Cameron, and of course, local employers here to being able to bring the largest internship expo to South Texas. This year, we were able to host 450 students, and also we had around 50 employers. And it was a huge milestone for us because in previous years, we have done 200 students, 300 students, but this time, again, we set the bar high and we excel. So we have 450 students that came to the event. We have 50 employers, and of course, we had multiple students that connected with possible internship opportunities. We had a LNG demonstration, as well as we have the opportunity for them to practice the interview skills, as we had the CT department assisting with mock interviews in partnership with the industry partners. So it was a great success. And thank you, Chairman Anchor Jensen, for attending and supporting the event. Do you have any questions for me?
Just one question. The Six Sigma is going to be trained by Texas A&M?
Yes, sir. The 16th man. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to them, and then so they have a very specialized Six Sigma which covers multiple areas of training. Of course, they gave me all the names right now. I'll go ahead and look them up in my notes. But then this Six Sigma certification by itself, if you were gonna get that price in the market, it's around $3,500 per person that gets trained with that. So it's, they're providing really good training, and then it's all the all around skills. So it's Six Sigma with all their certifications that assist with the Six Sigma.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
Thank you. I think we're good.
Thank you, Ms. De La Riva.
Thank you.
Next, business retention and expansion efforts by Giovanna Rangel.
Good afternoon, board members. So these are just a few of the visits I did this past month. I'm trying to focus on minimum 10 visits just so that I do the proper follow-up with each industry partner that we have. A few of the highlights that I want to share with you guys is we have a lot of growth happening in Bronzo, as you guys know. MVP Plastics has been seeing a great growth this past year. And just alone, in the past 4 months, they've created over 25 new jobs. And they currently have 10 new positions posted. And some of those positions are production manager, project manager, processors, shipping and receiving clerks, inspectores de calidad, right? So these are just a few of the positions they have open. And so part of what we're doing is assisting them, with partnering them with Workforce Cameron. So I've included Carla in this conversation so that, she can definitely assist them and provide them that assistance, right? As they are having some trouble finding the right people, as, specialized people that want to come into this specific field. Plastic injection molding is, as you guys know, very specialized, and there's a lot of people that don't know how to run these machines. So with the proper training and the proper leadership, we're hoping that they can find the people for this. They also added 4 new plastic injection molding machines. So when I went to visit a couple months ago, they were in the process of moving all of their warehouse to a different location to make space for these new machines. So of course, the impact with having new machines is obviously creating new jobs. So it's exciting times for them. And Claudia, who is the human resource woman there, is definitely keeping in contact with me, so that we are able to support them throughout this process. CLC, Creative Liquid Coatings as well, they received their $3 million investment machine. That was part of, kind of the agreement with us that they were going to invest, and they already have it. It's beautiful. It's not up and running yet, but that will definitely, bring some opportunities for them. So that's exciting as well. Let's see, Phoenix Door Systems as well. So they do, as I had mentioned before, they fabricate fiberglass doors, and they are also going to be receiving their brand new CNC machine by the end of the month. And so part of what I'm doing when I go do my BRE visits is, obviously I'm always asking, how can we help, right? And the other thing is that we're wanting to make sure that we tell their stories. So with the help of Alexa, we're scheduling tours, we're scheduling to go back to them and doing testimonials for them as well, so that we're able to educate the community as to what they're doing. And so they've invited us to go back at the end of the month to witness the installation of the CNC machine and maybe get some, content as well. A lot of us have never really seen that before, so I think it'd be great to share that. And of course, record a couple of the testimonials from their employees and assist them with them in that sense. And that's pretty much it. I have a tour scheduled with DiPasa. Again, Phoenix Door System. We're going to be doing Creative Liquid Coatings as well, and St. Gobain. So, any questions?
Creative Liquid Coatings, they seem to, every time I pass out there, the parking lot is full. Absolutely full. How many people do they employ now?
So where Creative Liquid Coatings is at, the other half of the part is Trico, right? So that's where the parking lot is filled. But Creative Liquid Coatings does have around 350 employees. So
Still a lot.
yeah.
I think probably if you can work with the university to see if we can help them, probably do some type of, see who's graduating and if they have openings there. I think we can match them together. That could be an opportunity for the kids who are coming out. I know they probably want some people with experience, but if there are positions that are open and they're not looking at them or something, I think if we can work together. I mean, since we have a partnership with the university.
Definitely, yeah. I'm sure, I believe Carla has looked into that as well before, and so we'll make sure to continue to support them.
If I can add real quick, so during Rally in the Valley, Creative Liquid Coatings participated. So we hosted like a internship, we hosted the internship expo and the mock interviews on one side of the building. And then on the other side, we had a mini job fairs for students, right? So the employers had the opportunity to have tables and then talk about possible internship opportunities and jobs. So definitely, I know for a fact the students connected with creative liquid coatings, not only through the mock interviews and practice their skills, but also through the, their table and learn more about. I can definitely follow up with Ms. Griselda to see if, we secure any internships or any, part-time jobs. So definitely, like Joanna said, we're working very closely. Thank you, Joanna, for all the support and of course, definitely all the great things that she has done with her visits. A lot of the numbers that we're generating is because of, the great work of Joanna and, connecting with the employers. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. And actually, Grisela did mention, we talked a little bit about Rally in the Valley because she thought that was, she loved being a part of the interview process and being able to talk to high school students. And, she was really excited to be a part of that. And I'm not sure, I didn't ask her if she found anyone or, any potential interns, but, I'm sure she'll want to share that with Carla. So any other questions?
Could you talk to us about Saint Gobain? What do they do?
So Saint Gobain, so they manufacture these, it's the disc,
Okay.
it's automotive disc, grinding disc, yes. Abrasive disc. If you go in there, they do different types of parts, right, for automotive, but their main thing is the abrasive disc. So they deal with a lot of the metal manufacturing as well. Very, very specialized, skills are needed for that.
And what's the size of the company? How many employees and stuff?
So they have about 400 employees. Mm-hmm. It's a very big facility. It's located by the airport.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's other things that you can put in your trip to Germany is what auto industry do we have local?
Any more questions, guys?
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rangel. Board, regarding item number 4 on the agenda, there won't be a report this month. Next item, Greater Brownsville Events and Partnerships by Elsa Gavan.
Good evening, board members. I'm excited to announce as part of the continuing education for staff members, Marlene, Carla, and I virtually attended and completed the ICMA Professional Development Academy. The 12-week program featured communication, negotiations, leadership skills. We created an oath that we have to follow throughout our career. So it was super exciting to attend, and thank you, Mr. Gardella, for the support and allowing us to attend that virtually. And Salvador recently went to Round Rock to attend the Government Finance Officers Association Spring Conference. It was a 2-day conference where he completed 12 hours continuing education for the Texas State Boards of Public Accountancy. Next item, I'm sorry, yes, next slide.
Well, good job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Marlene. Thank you, Carla. Also, as part of my role, Salvador and I and Alexa went through the community. I did some cold calls. I visited the businesses just to see how they're doing, how we could help. We also, in collaboration with Alexa, we did some stories which should be featured hopefully before the end of the month. I'm excited to feature these 2 partners, Pica Pica Candy Bar and Texican Barbecue. Most of these vendors I've already established a relationship with because, of course, I shop local and I eat local. So it's very easy for me to get through the door and just ask them, how can we be of assistance? I did ask them a few questions as to if they were hiring, how many employees they had, the longevity of their employees and, any ideas I could bring to the table. And there were a few vendors who are excited to have their stories told by Greater Brownsville. So we're going to start scheduling those. But as you see in the photo here, we took a picture with the Pika Pika owner, Amanda, and with the Texican barbecue owner, Mark. So they were super excited for us to be there, and it was just a great day, the day we featured their stories. Next item. And this month, we had a lot of events going on. It's been a great month for our staff. First, I want to start off with Bollywood, which is tomorrow. If you plan to attend, I did leave some tickets for you. And if you would like your ticket, please let me know at the end of this meeting. It'll be at 6:30 tomorrow at the Event Center. We're so excited because all the monies collected are a donation to the Ozanam Center. And there was a press release which Alexa and Brett attended, so it was an amazing event. We also attended the BTX ribbon cutting and demo center grand opening, which also featured, once in a lifetime here in Bronzeville, we're having fiber connected. So it's a great opportunity for a community who doesn't have internet services. Our small business summit featured some staff members from the governor's office, and Giovanna and I attended, and so we heard a lot of small business stories. People all over the valley attended, and they were able to tell us their personal stories of how they got started, where they're at now, and how they're being helped by the communities that they're in. We also, in collaboration with the city, hosted the BTAC welcome reception at Le Rêve, the new French American restaurant. And we hosted Texas State Secretary Jane Nelson. There was about 80 people attending that event. It was an amazing event. And I was just so grateful to be part of the collaboration and setup, and just to make it a success, and so that we can have them hosted again in the future. Also, another upcoming event is the State of the City 2024 address for Mayor Cowan, and it's May the 8th. I did send an email, so if you can please confirm if you'll be attending. I would love for y'all to attend with us. And I also want to thank Board Member Peña and Giovanna for being guest judges at the National Civic Speak competition, which featured middle school students who wrote an essay about civic issues that they could, in the future, help to resolve. So it's a great initiative. I think it's perfect for featuring students from all over the Rio Grande Valley. They get to know and get to learn and think outside the box on how they can help their community. Any questions?
I guess I have one. I really like what you're doing here. I really do.
Thank you.
Does this still fall under the mission statement of GBIC for local small businesses?
As my strategic partnerships title, yes. So that was part of the conversation that we had. Some of those business owners did mention to me in Salvador that nobody had gone through their door recently. And so they were very happy to see that someone was asking them how we can help. Not that we're going to fund, but just to see what kind of ideas we can give them. So one of the vendors asked, I want to expand, but I don't know how. Can you provide some ideas, or, how can we collaborate? So I did kind of provide him, ideas to maximize his space with games and, some kind of activity for families. And so he was very grateful. So I'm going to just be following up with different vendors every single month. So you are going to see it monthly now.
Excellent initiative. That, I think, it's something that we have spoken about, to attract industry coming down here. What kind of service do we provide, for business people coming down with families? What does Brownsville have to offer? So yeah, perfect. Like it.
Oh, thank you.
Great stuff.
One of my cousins works for Next Decade, and he lives in Houston, and he was asking me the other day, where do I tell my coworker and his family to go? So I think this is, keeping a list of all these new small businesses that are opening up, which there's been a ton lately.
Yes.
Is a good idea, because you are going to get those questions, and it's probably not a bad idea to have a flyer about that you can, pass around.
And typically someone will call me and ask me, hey, do you know, where I can get this, or can you connect me? Recently, thank you to Giovanna for connecting me to the CEO of Pure Body Water. If you have not tried it, you need to try it. It is amazing. So I connected him with another organization that's going to help him to provide boxes for his water. So, we discussed that recently. And so I'm going to go visit him and I'm going to continue doing this because again, I want to keep those partnerships strong. Those are the partners that we utilize for our events.
One of the things, if I may, real quick, about this particular initiative and the reason we undertook it is we're no longer calling ourselves the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation because we don't want people to think we're just here to give them money. More often than not, we benefit a business by making connections with them and other businesses within our community. And that is truly an important part of economic development for me. So undertaking this was something I had asked Elsa to do because she's very good at it. And she's been bringing in a lot of these small businesses to the events that we've planned, as you guys have experienced. And most of these folks don't know how to tell their story. And I want to assure you that when we're telling their story, it isn't about the product. We're not saying go buy this hamburger from this guy. It's about the business, how it got started, why it got started, the struggles that they're having, right? The employees that they're looking for, or the skill sets that they need in whatever particular industry. So we do ourselves a tremendous amount of goodwill and build our public relations strength by telling stories of these other organizations. You've seen us doing it at the large level with Rich Products, for example, and Cetrium, and we want to do it at the small level as well. We want to make sure that when people think about Greater Brownsville, they're thinking about business, regardless of the size, and how we can help those businesses connect with other businesses and ultimately grow.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much, Elsa.
Thank you.
Wonderful work.
Thank you, Ms. Galvan.
Are we jumping over point number 4? Are we going to hear from Alexa?
So Alexa has a bad throat today. So we've kind of held off on her giving a presentation today.
Okay.
Obviously, the big things that we're working on, as you know, the mural is completed, with the exception of the QR code. Did it get painted in the QR code? Okay. So the QR code will be painted up on the mural. And otherwise than that, it is completed. And I think we've had some pretty good engagement. The QR code will lead people to our website, which will be pretty cool. Not our website, but our socials. So we'll know who's hitting us and where they're coming from. And hopefully they'll leave some nice comments or pictures of themselves in front of it. We are tentatively planning right now an event based around the mural on May 31st. And we will keep you posted on that. We are working with the tourism department to put on a space-themed event in front of the mural. And of course, we would love to have the board there to help us celebrate this. It's still being formulated by Alexa right now. And we've had some conversations about it, but it looks like May 31 will be the date for that. The New Realm is still working very well with us hand in hand on creating the new website. We have the new fonts, logos, and everything in-house in hand. Now we know what we are using. So now we're diving down into the website, finishing up the landing page, and then the secondary pages that Alexa's working quite diligently with them to get finished up as soon as we can. We're a little bit behind on that, not because of New Realm, but because we decided to change organizations from the previous organization that I presented to you to build a website because of their proprietary technology that we were not aware of initially. So a little bit behind in that, but we will get caught up as quickly as we can. So that's the quick hit on the marketing side. We'll keep you posted if anything else is going to be earth-shattering or breaking in the next couple of weeks before our next meeting.
Brett, when we were exercising our amazing painting skills on the wall, we talked to the mayor and a couple of the city commissioners about them fixing up the front with some gravel or some concrete or some grass or something.
Yes.
Have we heard back from them on that?
I will do some follow-up on that tomorrow.
Thank you. Any questions? Guys?
Nope.
We're good? Thank you.
Next item, discussion, consideration, and acknowledgement of Greater Brownsville Financials and Quarterly Investment Report presented by Salvador Villalpando.
Good evening, board members. We'll begin with the financials and then get into the quarterly investment report. So the first slide here has the balance sheet for fiscal year 2024 through March, which is 6 months into this fiscal year. Total assets are at 39.4 million, which consists of the following: 75,000 in cash, 24.9 million in investments, 609,000 in accounts receivable, and that's the sales tax collections for the month of February. It's remitted to the city of Brownsville and then sent to us. 13.8 million in capital assets. Liabilities are 197,000, and those consist of 147,000 in accounts payable and 50,000 in escrow deposits. So the difference between our assets and liabilities gives us our total net position of 39.8 million as of March, and that consists of 13.8 million invested in capital assets, 21.7 in undesignated net position, and 3.6 million in designated.
Question.
Yes.
Accounts receivable, we got $609,000 in accounts receivable from where? Who owes us that money?
From the city of Brownsville. So the comptroller remits the sales taxes, and that's for February to the city, and then they make the payment to Greater Brownsville.
Okay. Thank you.
Next slide, please. So on this slide here, we have the year-over-year comparison and budget versus actuals through March. I'll be focusing on the second column, which is the actuals for this fiscal year. So the total change in that position, which is revenues over expenditures, is 2 million through March. And that's coming from 3.8 million in revenues and 1.8 in expenditures. So for revenues, we have 3.2 million in sales taxes, and that's just through 5 months. We're still pending March to be reported and collected. 624,000 in interest, which has surpassed the total budgeted amount for this fiscal year. 17,000 in sponsorships, and 210,000 in miscellaneous revenues, $210, I'm sorry, in miscellaneous revenues. Expenditures, 932,000 in operating, 455 in incentive expenditures, 375 in strategic initiatives, and none in non-incentives. Next slide, please. So this slide here, we have a sales tax comparison between this fiscal year and the previous. The row in green is the month of February. So collections in February were 613,000, and that was a 13.1% increase compared to February of last fiscal year. And then the subtotal for the first 5 months of this year are 3.2 million, and that's a 7% increase compared to the previous fiscal year. So annualizing that 7% increase, it's just a projection. The projected collections for this fiscal year are 7.8 million. And that's taking into consideration the 7% increase so far. Next slide, please. Lastly, we have the quarterly investment report. This is required to be reported as per the Public Funds Investment Act to the board. And you do have the report, so it's 2 pages. This is just page 2 of the report. So on here, it's just a snapshot of the portfolio, which is 24.9 million as of March 2024, with 27% being in the interest-bearing demand accounts, and then the majority, 73% in the investment pools, which are yielding a much higher interest rate. So we have 75,000 in the depository PNC accounts, which is yielding 2.78%, 6.7 million in the money market account, which is yielding a higher percentage rate of 5.22. Then we have 6.8 million in Texas class, yielding 5.26%, and the majority, 11.4 million in Tex pool, which is yielding the highest at 5.32%. Our weighted average maturity for the portfolio is 21 days, which is well under the maximum allowable of 210. And basically that just translates to our portfolio being liquid. We can pull our funds if needed for our operating needs. And lastly, our weighted average yield is 5.27%. That's normally compared to a 3-month treasury bill. And we're actually performing better than the treasury bill, which is at 5.23%. That covers the financials. If there's any questions.
Now, where's the one with your signature on it? The one we
It should be in the packet.
back of
The packet has page 1 and 2, so page 1 has a signature. I have a hard copy here if you would like to see it, but it should be in the packet.
the one with the beginning and the
Correct.
And the
Yes, it
ending
has the
balances?
beginning values as of December and then the ending values through March 2024. Should be towards the end. No. I do have the hard copy if you'd like to see it, or I can email it.
No, I saw it because I reviewed it this week.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I know it exists because I reviewed it this week.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I want to make that available to the, it's not in the packet.
Okay, I'll ensure that it's, I'm not sure why it wasn't, but I'll ensure that it's included in the packet.
Okay, thank you.
I just had a question about vendor invoices, doing it ourselves versus the city. How's that going? What's the transition been like?
Well, that's a great question. I'm not sure we really want to talk about it in public, but we still have not been able to get Sal the proper use of the programming to do what he has been hired to do from the city. We're not sure why. Someone is either afraid to make a decision or is continuing to kick the can down the road for some reason to delay this. And the city attorney and our attorney have talked about this to figure out why. So I throw my hands up. I don't know why we're in this delay.
What exactly is it that the city have not done what they're supposed to do? And would it help if we wrote them a letter and signed by all the board of directors and say, we'd like to see some action on these issues?
Last month it was my understanding that we'd gotten beyond this, and it was the work was supposed to be turned over. The access was supposed to be given to Salvador. Why we still have this delay, I can't answer that, sir. I'm sorry.
The new agreement with the city, is that ready?
It's being drafted, because one of the issues I had last year was you have an attorney who's for the city drafting an agreement that is also for GBIC. There's a conflict there. And I think in this instance, as we go down the line, I think it's getting a little adverse. So we are sending the draft agreement to Allison, who you met a couple of weeks ago, maybe, or a month ago, who will be representing GBIC on that particular portion of the agreement.
Will, is the idea to give Sal access to the city's accounting system or to turn it over completely and we would be in charge of our own?
Well, I don't know. We have the director, Lupe, from the city who can answer the questions on, because my understanding is y'all have read-only access to your all accounts. As there is a concern from the cybersecurity standpoint that y'all don't have IT staff, right? We have an IT staff that's constantly monitoring our system. And so if the way it's configured, the EA director, now it's IT director, he has concerns about allowing an outside party, even though it's GBIC, access to the city systems. But that is on the cybersecurity EA side, right? I mean, we can add a provision in there that we also do your IT, but as far as like the access to it, Lupe is here to answer that question.
Okay. No, I was gonna say, because the curious thing is that the outside person that they're allowing access used to have access before, right? As an employee of the city.
Well, when he was an employee of the city, yes.
Yeah.
But he's no longer an employee of the city.
Well, if I may, the city has access to our computer systems. So if there's a quid pro quo here, we need to figure it out because we do, in essence, use the city for our IT services. So this should not be an issue of an outside entity using their system. If it is, then I will sit down and approach you guys about altering that. And we will get our own system and we will be internalized by ourselves. I will remind the board that in the bylaws, it does state that you as a board have the option to do what you wish to do with the money. And you can set up your own accounts and handle it internally to this organization. One of the reasons we brought Salvador on board was to make sure that internally to our organization, we are maintaining everything that we have to maintain on a daily basis with our money. So that is a possibility. Why have we been talking about this without any action on behalf of the city for 3 months? I guess the gentleman is here to tell us.
Questions?
Good afternoon. My name is Lupe and I'm the Finance Director for the City of Brownsville. In short, I don't know exactly what's being asked. I keep hearing we need access. We granted view-only access. The city has been the fiduciary responsibility of managing all the accounting for the Greater Brownsville City Corporation since its inception. We have all the records on there. We have everything. As of yet, I have not gotten full understanding what is wanting to be done. View access is granted. Processing your payroll, we haven't talked about that. Processing your OP, we haven't talked about that. There's some internal control measures. We just can't shut off one system and turn on another system. And until I get a better understanding, but more importantly than that, there has to be an update to the MOU to let us know what our responsibilities are. Our responsibilities there is to oversee the financials of the GBIC, Greater Brownsville City Corporation. But even if that gets approved, transitioning, there still has to be some reconciliation transitioning to make sure internal controls are there. Other than that, you'll be flying by yourselves, and I don't know if you have enough personnel for the internal control processes needed to make sure that the financial statements are monitored, oversight as best as you can.
So the oversight would come from this governing board, right?
Actually, yes, absolutely, but there's details in the financials that really need to have some internal controls, because what you have is numbers up there. You
Right.
don't have the details on, unless you want to dive into the details of payroll and accounts payable, what gets approved, what doesn't get approved. Currently with the city, you have multiple internal controls of who processes it, how it gets reviewed, how the transactions get settled ultimately. And we're responsible for those transactions with the approval of the director signing off on those invoices. Absolutely. But again, those are little concerns that I have.
Will,
And to date,
is
I
that a true
haven't
statement
gotten
that they're
to
responsible?
understanding how that's going to transition.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is that a true statement that they're responsible? I mean, we are a separate corporation, right?
Yes, you are a separate corporation, but you're still subject to the
Governing board.
oversight of the city commission. And so they can audit anytime. So I don't know if he's saying that this is part of their,
I'm talking
auditing
about the
protocols.
MOU, the MOU portion.
Oh, okay, I guess from the MOU, but then again, we can modify that agreement, of course. Denton Navarro can,
So this is the one that Denton Navarro is working on. So I think we're maybe putting the cart before the horse, and we need to be clear because they obviously don't understand what we want. And I think that needs to be set out in the MOU so there's no ambiguity as to what we want.
Yes.
I don't think that we want to, I think that it benefits us to have the city's finance department oversee some of it. I don't think that we're trying to put all of it onto us. It's probably a lot. I don't know. But I know we just wanted some ease of being able to do certain things.
Right.
Like write checks.
Right. That
to
was.
more timely pay, but I
these
don't think we
con-
want to
these-
just say, take it off without having something in writing. I mean, I can understand the confusion coming from the finance department.
Yes, but I can also understand the fact that we've had conversations with elected officials and the city manager who agreed that we were going to transition into this process months ago.
Right.
So that we should not be having this confusion on us internally handling, cutting the checks for our vendors and handling our payroll. We had opted, we've had the conversation as a board with myself, that we didn't have any intention of pulling out our investments that the city is handling. I think, as Salvador showed, the investments are being handled very well. We're doing very well on that side. We're not trying to do that. We are trying to be able to control on a daily basis the items that we pay and process. Because even with Lupe running his department the way he runs it, we still have things that fall by the wayside, that don't get paid on time, or that we have to chase down. And every time we chase something down, it makes us look bad. If we have our internal processes where we're handling those items, then we're getting them done on a timely basis.
And that was the very reason why we hired Sal, right? So that we can
Yes.
get control of our own accounting. And as far as internal controls, the amount of transactions that flow through the corporation is not a vast amount of transactions that can be easily supervised by the CEO as well as the governing board. And so from an internal control standpoint, I think we're adequately covered by the oversight. And I just don't understand what the holdup would be in allowing us to take over the accounting, either through access of not only just read only, but to be able to execute transactions at the city of Brownsville's accounting system. Or the alternative is to get our own accounting system, give us the data, and we will do our own accounting. It's not a complex accounting system. From what I've seen, the transactions are not vast and huge that would make a complex accounting treatment of transactions. And so I don't know what the big deal is.
I know what the big deal is. Having conversations is one thing, but having things set out in writing and be clear is different. And so talking to the city manager about it is not the same as having it in an MOU. So that's why we need to use Denton Navarro. There's no ambiguity. Put it in the MOU, and then we can move on this. Going back and forth and blaming each other because I don't know what the delay is not going to get us anywhere. It just needs to be in writing.
Okay.
And then I think it'll get done.
So we need it because that was the whole purpose why we hired Sal, right?
Yes.
And it's not getting done. So here we are 3 months later and we're still not able to execute on our transactions, cut checks, or run payroll.
Yes.
So
I don't think that's a correct statement that transactions are being delayed. The delay portion is a complicated matter, but we did it in the past. We keep doing it. Yes, we've had some hiccups on there, but there's mutual discussions on where the blame lies on these items. But
Irrespective of where the,
yes,
where irrespective of where it lies,
yeah.
we have made a decision. You sit down with city management, we get Denton, we get Will, we get yourself, so you can voice whatever problems and issues and concerns you have. Come to an agreement and we put it in writing, we finish it. Enough. I'm hearing a whole lot of, doesn't need to be said, but I understand what's going on. We get it. Just sit down, let's get it done. Let's get it in writing. Let's move on.
I agree with Frank. That's what we need to do, is set the people down that has got the skin in the game. Stay in the room until you agree something, write it down, sign it, and we're done.
It's good.
It cannot be that difficult.
I believe that's the consensus of our board, so.
Thank you, Frank.
We need access, otherwise we're in the same place. And nothing happened.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And just to be clear, I don't know how the city does its paying checks. We just want ours to be faster. And whoever's fault that is, we just want to simplify our lives. And that's why. You guys are much bigger than GBIC, so we'd rather have our own. That's why. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. But do you agree that it's a good idea to sit down and get it sorted out and then put it in writing and then get Will to whatever legal stuff we have to do and get it done?
Yeah, definitely sit down, get in writing, and get the MOUs approved by both Commission and GBIC and go forward.
So I'm kind of hoping by our next meeting, next board meeting, that you guys will tell us, say, okay, we got it in writing, it's done, and we have all the permissions that we need to give to our new accounting person. Would
Definitely,
that be fair?
I'll put my time and effort to it, absolutely.
Great. Thank you. Any more questions?
Motion to approve. Or accept.
Are you done with your stuff? Okay.
Make a
I need a
motion.
motion to approve as read.
So moved.
A second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Although not in favor say nay. The ayes have it, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Villalpando. Next item, discussion and possible action related to the annual compliance report by the First National Bank, presented by Giovanna Rangel.
Okay, so we're here to approve, or actually, let me rephrase that. First National Bank's first annual compliance report is due. And so after further reviewing the information they presented to us. They submitted 103 employees that they created 103 employees. Oh my God. They created 103 jobs this past year. And so according to our agreement with them, 96 employees of them fell into the 2,000 job incentive category. Seven of them fell into the $3,000 job incentive. And with the job training incentive of $500 per employee, the total payout is $264,000 with $500. So we are recommending that, we pay their first payment of $264,500.
That's in the budget?
Yes, sir. And you have all the reporting backup in your, yes, yes, Project Green God.
Need a motion to approve?
I have a question on it says 113, but then it says 103. Is that a typo or?
So part of the agreement is that they were to create 113 over 2 years. And so in the first year, this is the first year, they created 103. So they have 10 more to create in the next year. Yeah, so that's what we're owed for the next compliance report.
And they met all the requirements according to the contract?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And you all did the audit on the job creations and you verified that he's.
Yes, yes. So we asked for employee reports, obviously through their payroll. We also asked for their workforce commission reporting to make sure that, the numbers match. In this case, there was also job training. So they provided the curriculum. They provided as well as, the dates as to when. And there is a copy of an email where she's stating that all 103 employees go through that same exact training. So all 103 qualified for the training incentive.
Any more questions? All good? I need a motion.
I make a motion for the recommendation.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussions on this payment? The total payment is $264,500, right?
Correct.
Okay. So the motion is to pay this money out.
That is correct.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those not in favor say nay. The ayes have it, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rangel. Next item, discussion and action, if any, on projects with the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. A, project closeout report and payment of Cosmic Shield Corporation. B, project no cost extension for future SQC. C, consideration of the 50% payment for services already completed. Project Future SQC, presented by Carla de la Riva.
Good afternoon, board members. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. So as you may recall, back in July 2022, we brought to you our first Launch VTX project, and that was presented by Cosmic Shielding Corporation. And of course, Cosmic Shielding is a company that is being working very closely with UTRGV. And the purpose of the funding when we created the program, the Launch VTX, was to provide systems for R&D and of course training of students here locally in Brownsville. And of course we did that in partnership with a local education institution. And in this case, UTRGV was the one that submitted the project. Future SQC submitted the Cosmic Shielding Corporation, and Cosmic Shielding Corporation, it was created in 2020. And it's an aerospace company that is created to they're building components for radiation and everything. So we wanted to bring this project. They have completed the contract. They have completed with all the training for the students and the development of the product. So we just wanted to bring this for your consideration. Now we're gonna have Mr. Ron Garza from UTRGV as well as his team presenting on the update for the project and some of the results. Mr. Garza.
Good afternoon, board. Good to see you again. It's been a while. There's 3 items, but I'll take these individually. Again, as Carla summarized, the Cosmic Shield, there was 2 projects we're talking about tonight. The first one is Cosmic Shielding, or CSC. That was the first project, and item A is just considering the closeout. We have finished that project. Actually, it's been finished now for about 6 months. So we have all the documentation, and I do understand in the packets, there was they're really large files, so I don't know how much clarity there was on the presentations in your packets there. But we have closed out that project. Just to remind you, there was the founder of that company, CSC, is Dr. Lembit Schreiber. He's been engaged through the process, and I do want to also say that I have some members of the faculty team, the research team for both projects online. So if there's any specific technical questions, we can ask them. There's pretty extensive projects, pretty extensive presentations. So instead of going slide by slide, that could take a time, I think we'll just extract any specific questions that you may have. But that first project was initiated September 13th of 2022. We finished it on time. There was 11 set deliverables as per the contract. Things went very well. Again, Dr. Schreiber was very engaged. He comes down to the Valley regularly. He was not able to be on Zoom tonight. He kind of travels between the Valley, Atlanta, Boston, and Switzerland. And this meeting conflicted with somewhere in the travels. But he's been so engaged that, as a matter of fact, he's an adjunct professor now of UTRGV. So he's been very engaged. I think the most shining example of this research project is that some of his materials that have been developed by this project have already been in space. So he is ready to take it to the next level. Part of his activity right now is looking for funding, something that we've kind of reinstituted for him to keep the eye on the prize, but he's securing contracts and he's looking for funding for specific equipment to commercialize the product that we researched. This research, just to remind you, is called applied research. So instead of having very theoretical research, it's very finite research looking to solve a solution for industry that a company has. So we were at that point, and I think the team was very happy and satisfied with what they came up with. And again, he has, and I believe he had, they may correct me if I'm wrong, but believe he had patents already for this product, but it's ready to commercialize. And obviously, all of our intent now is moving forward that he actually produces the product here in Brownsville. So that for item A, we are presenting the closeout materials, any questions you may have there, and obviously hoping to consider authorization of the payment. And I believe that project was valued at $150,000 for that first project. But glad to answer any high-level questions, but if you have any specific technical questions, I have the team ready for it.
I think I have the same questions I had last time you were here. How many jobs will it create, and who is beneficiary of the profits made from these materials? We are now paying for the development of it. Where do we stand when it becomes commercialized?
Sure. So obviously the job creation is something that's the burden of that is solely on the company. This was Launch BTX was a kind of a hybrid of an applied research workforce development program. So we were just the contractor to do that research. We have taken that kind of a step beyond that. Even every interaction that I have with Dr. Schreiber has re-emphasized how important it is. Obviously, GBIC didn't make this investment just to advance his company somewhere else, local job creation, right? I think that could be a measure by his engagement. And he has been engaged. Again, he's traveled weeks at a time to come down here at that point. He's ready to commercialize. I know he secured some shorter level contracts, but mass production is what we're looking for, right? So unfortunately, he couldn't be. We tried to schedule this last month. He was not available. He wasn't unfortunately available for this month too. But some of those direct, questions need to be focused at him.
He has funded an additional year of work. CSC has funded a continuation by our team moving further downstream to developing manufacturing processes, building additional prototypes that are going to fly this year. And that's been funded out of CSC funds as they had a round of capital raised. And so,
and the funding is supporting 8 students in Brownsville, and some in Edinburgh that go back and forth, but it's based in Brownsville, a lot of the material. And he has also shown commitment to hire some of these students that we are actually training upon graduation for his workforce. So if he were to, once he starts the company in Brownsville, his first priority is to hire those students that have been developed through this program. So that's basically what his commitment has been, at least to us.
I'm sorry, would you please state your name for the record?
Sorry, Constantine Taraune. I was the PI on the project. Me and Dr. Jones are PIs. We are the ones who are overseeing the research at the UTRGV institution.
Yeah, and I'm Robert Jones. I'm split. I'm on the Edinburgh campus part of the time, but I run the informatics and engineering systems program on the Brownsville campus for UTRGV. So.
And board, if I may, we met with Lembit about 2 months ago, last time he was in town, and we did talk about, he ended his program about 6 months earlier than what was anticipated. So his program is finalized, his proof of concept has been proven into space and brought back, is my understanding. And now we are talking to him about a next level of engagement here in the community. And he does have some investments coming in from either Germany or Switzerland. I forget where he said it was from. But the investment amounts that they're trying to make in him are also coming with some strings attached where they want him to go and produce in Ohio. So we have chatted with him about what he needs to do business down here. And right now the number's looking at about $250,000 for equipment. Again, we want to sit down. We want to complete this first project, get UTRGV compensated for their time and effort for helping him out on the research and development side. And now we want to be able to engage his company down here in our area to start doing some things in the space industry. We have this ability to attack that first and have him be sort of the first space-related business in our community. And I think it's important that we try to move forward as quickly as we can with that.
How big of a facility are they looking for, or what's the size of the production line that they will be envisioning?
Brett, do you remember the size of the equipment? And Dr. T or Dr. Jones, the extruder so there's a next level of extruder, correct, that he would need to produce these at a higher rate?
Right. For startup, I'm willing to let him use, as long as he's funding some of my students, let him use some of the space in my laboratory for initial production, startup. It really depends on how the current testing goes in terms of the volumes. They could get pretty large because we're talking shielding for human space stations, spacecraft, and so on. And so the numbers may end up being like large, very large pounds. And so he'll need a large extruder. We're talking right now about one that's like 200 kilos a day, I think, production. So probably several employees, at full strength to do that. But I think the other thing that he's interested in is having his R&D facility here, because there's lots of other varieties of this and a lot of different environments that materials need to be optimized for. And so I think he's looking for a long-term relationship where he has some of our graduates who understand making and testing the materials, and so he wants to kind of have his R&D center here. So that's at least the discussions that I've been in with him about that.
I think it's important to note too that it was pretty quickly, we had the contractual deliverables, but he's an ambitious entrepreneur, right? So very quickly he wanted more out of the project, and the project team kind of took it upon themselves that they found value in that. So the scope really is much larger than the contractual agreement we had with GBIC. So that was funded obviously by UTRGV, but it's been a great benefit to the students. He's kind of over the 16-month or so of this project, kind of developed that team that he's kind of, and we have no reason to believe otherwise, that he would want to hire that team because he's kind of groomed these students along the way. And I think he does, in talking to him last time, he understands the value of the space and aerospace ecosystem here in Brownsville. So there's been no indications, other than we would all like to see him physically present here more, obviously, right? But part of what he's trying to do, as any entrepreneur of this level, is raise capital. So we understand that. But the fact that, as Dr. T and Dr. Jones mentioned, that he's continued this project, to other levels, and he has self-funded that. So putting relative, and I remember that somebody brought that up at the very initial step of this, having skin in the game. So he is now proven to do so. So those are values.
And we continue to meet with him on a weekly basis. So we have our weekly meeting for 1 hour where we basically talk about deliverables, and we produce many samples for him for companies so that he can start getting larger orders. So it has been a continuation, and it does not seem that all his intention, from what we know, is to hire our students and build facilities here. That has been the discussion that has come out.
How much money are we looking at here?
We currently owe $150,000 on the agreement that's in place, and that will
That
complete.
we have agreed in previous contract to pay. Is that what he's looking to get paid now, or what is it?
That completes the agreement with UTRGV.
That's what they're looking to get paid. We had allocated funds for it.
Yeah.
And they've met all the contractual obligations?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And previously reported, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
presented on the project. You presented previously about this project, I think.
Yeah, the last time we did an update, it was at about the 75% mark, but in the packet now, and we have we've turned in the full report, all deliverables have been met. And again, just to remind, that's Project A, which is the CSC project. We also have for tonight consideration the second project.
Yeah, but that's a new project. That's not included in the 150,000, right?
No.
That's correct.
Okay. So, well, I see what we need to do is to get this 150,000 behind us, get it done with.
So I make a motion.
And then start looking at a new project.
Make a motion to.
So I need a motion to.
I make a motion.
Second. Second.
No.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those not in favor, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion passes, and let's move on to the next stuff.
And for the next item, we're also gonna have Mr. Ron Garza providing an update in regards to future SQC. As you know, the launch BTX program that was created, 2 years ago. It was with the purpose to fund, R&D and testing, right? So definitely the second project that we're bringing to the table, it's Future SQC, and we have Ron Garza and Mr. Cerda here representing for the team.
So this is the second project that was back, so the second project was authorized back about 1.5 years ago. So I'll refer to this one as the Future SQC project. That one was awarded for $210,000 by GBIC to UTRGV at that point. So there's two items there for potential consideration. One is, so we are at approximately 75% completion of that project. Again, going very well. To remind everybody on that one, that is a company that is headquartered out of eBridge, part of what's called the Global Soft Landing Program. This was a company that was developed from other companies that originally part of our Global Soft Landing Program is to recruit and develop international companies. So this has been a longstanding company here in this area that is looking to develop. They specialize in software technologies, and specifically this project was to advance VR and AR software for manufacturing and other applications. So again, going very well. We're at about 75% completion. So two items to consider. One item is that we noticed in our UTRGV grants department caught this, that the contract date actually expired January 25th of 2024. So I believe that was just an oversight because that did not line up with a projected timetable for what we anticipated this project to be. So one thing we were considering to remain in compliance of that is just not an extension to the cost or anything like that, just a date, just basically push the date. We have full confidence that this project will be completed by August 31st. But if you'd like me to come back and schedule the time to present before completion, I think to be safe, could be December 31st, but that's at the will of the board. But we will complete this project by August 31st. So one consideration is a no-cost extension to the contractual date. Second thing for your consideration, if you choose to do this, is we have submitted a 50% completion report and 50% invoice. If you choose to pay 50%, you can do that now, or just wait till full completion of the project. This was just something, obviously, our accounting department had asked me, because UTRGV is, we're running a negative balance on these accounts, paying our students and the research projects, but that's completely at the will. The priority, quite honestly, is extending that contract, so we're back in. But again, I have the project team on board along with Mr. Eduardo Cerda, which is the founder of Future SQC. Sorry about that. So any specific questions about the project, how the project's going, or back to your question, sir, about job creation, which we all, obviously, is the priority. We do have Mr. Cerda, who is very committed to this region. So anything we collectively could answer for you.
So how many students have worked on this project?
Oscar, so Oscar Martinez is the lead, one of the leads on this project. Oscar, how many students, what is the student team?
Hi, hello, good afternoon. My name is Oscar Martinez, and right now we are working around 7 students in the project. And this is this semester, and the students from the last semester were 2 more. In total, is between 7 and 9 students was supported by the grant of GBIC.
And again, I know part of the issue on loading the PowerPoint, it's a very data-intensive PowerPoint because it actually shows demos of the AR and the VR that they're using. So I don't know if you got to see that, but I mean, there are already actually building the dashboard, and just from a very simplistic, they're building an AR VR dashboard that they could use and use on manufacturing production lines, so they can make real-time adjustments instead of what traditionally is done in manufacturing, where you go and make the modification, stop the line, right? So you can do it real time without impeding production. So it's obviously real cool technology, and not only from a manufacturing standpoint, but I think once it's actually commercialized, they could use this for different applications. And Mr. Cerda has strong connections. I believe he used to work for Microsoft for many years, so very still integrated with the software industry.
So this is at UTRGV Brownsville.
They toggle between both campuses. All these projects are done on infrastructure in both campuses.
Okay.
And students actually are from both. And I do know, Oscar, where are you? Oh, there you go. Oscar, can you just give a sample where the student base, because they've kind of gone through from semester to semester, is that correct?
Yes, with every semester, sometimes like the last semester, 2 graduate students was working with us in the project that finish and graduate. And for this semester, we'd add 2 more students, undergraduate students. But yes, we are working in both campus, in Brownsville and also in Edinburgh. The big lab, right, is in Edinburgh, but also in Brownsville, we have a couple of students.
We were just talking about this before the meeting, that it's our faculty and staff that generally have to be the transient, to avoid, but students go back and forth, but we really try to do it from the faculty and staff perspective to avoid forcing students to have to go to campuses for certain things. But sometimes they do just for flexibility, but we try to do it on the faculty side.
So what would be, once they're completed, what would be the next step? I mean, are they going to start manufacturing, or is it proven that it can work, or what is it you're envisioning right now?
So Mr. Cerda will expand on my answer, but his original intent here, because of the base of manufacturing here, and especially things like the port, because he envisions that, but the customer support, he calls it something, and Eduardo, why don't you answer that, but
Yes,
kind of
yes, more
the
than
call
that.
center, so to speak.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, sure. We have been talking, Oscar and themselves. We think we can finish. Yeah, they think and finish the project about the end of the summer. That's why the August 31st and that date's around. It's like the target. So once this is like this is not a finished product. I think you know that the software products are really intensive in labor and in cost. But this is something that is really enough to start like something that we call MVP or something like to starting making POCs. What it means is we want to showcase the product over the ECC, over the e-bridge with some local companies, local manufacturings, and we think that we will be able to make a really good kickoff of the product and help a lot to the different technology we can use in the local manufacturing. And from there, the idea is to support and to keep the development of the product with the local, all the things that we will develop of the product, we're going to make it on the Brownsville area.
So just, it's like proof of concept, because I imagine every particular program has to be tailored to whatever manufacturing industry you're using. It's not like it can't be cookie cutter. So it's from a general proof of concept
right.
standpoint.
That's right.
Yes,
To
that's
a
what it is.
point, but pretty adaptable on the back end. But,
Yes.
you know, eBridge has a space designated on the second floor for a makerspace that's really not utilized right now, but we do envision this to be maybe the first prototyping makerspace that, you know, obviously would help them as a sales center, right? Other industry can come in, demo the space, and then he have, you know, do live demos in the manufacturing area.
It would be nice to be able to demo the product and let us see what the final product is and see it in action.
Absolutely.
Once it's completed, yeah.
Yeah, I know I've said this before, but at some point, you know, we really need to have the board take a field trip just to see some of the literally world-class research that's done on this campus, especially, you know, this is one project, but I think something that we're really proud of here in Brownsville particularly is our Diabetes Research Institute. So again, you guys are advocates for this research, and sometimes we pass the buildings and don't realize the magnitude of the research. So at some point we'll do that. But I was thinking, I mean, we're not completed with this project, but obviously when we do close this project, having a demo day of this would be really cool.
That'd be
Love
nice.
to do that. I'd love to see those.
Me too, yeah.
I make a motion to extend the date as required to make it make sense, and to pay the 50%.
I second.
We have a motion to extend the date of the contract to when?
August 31st is when we would be complete, so we'd stop incurring costs at that point. If it doesn't matter to GBIC that we present the closeout after that date.
I would recommend we present closeout after that date.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then August 30th.
Is that staff recommendation?
I'm sorry?
August 31st, is that your recommendation?
No, my recommendation is that we would wait until after the closeout and everything is finalized, and we would address this most likely in next year's budget.
But we have to extend the contract date for you all. That's the thing, so.
It sounded like their department, their legal found out that it didn't line up with the actual term allowed for.
Well, technically with the contract that has lapsed, we can't incur costs to it, right? So which we're running a negative balance anyway. So that's why I just thought if we wanted to be safe with all of this, it would be December 31st. So, but it's the will of the board.
I don't have an issue with it.
I don't have an issue with it.
I'll amend my motion to be December 31st, 2024.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to amend the contract to December 31st, 2024?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, she did motion to pay out half of the project as well.
Yes.
Yes.
The motion is also to pay out half of the project, which how much is that?
105,000.
half of it is 105.
No, it is 105.
Okay.
Payment amount, yeah.
Is that part of your
Yeah,
motion?
but I don't think we need to really mention that, do we? But
Whatever. No, half, yeah.
Not gonna be in the
We have a
minutes.
motion to extend the date to December 31st and pay out half of the contract.
There you go.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I think the ayes have it. Motion passes.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. Next item, closed session pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney related to employment contracts. Chairman, we need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to go to executive session.
All those.
Second. Aye.
The ayes have it. We are going into executive session.
If you're here for leadership, Brownsville, you have to wait until we get back in order to get your papers signed, okay? Just kidding. Get out of here. Get your stuff signed. Get
Well,
outta
I
here.
warn you, these executive sessions sometimes run a little late, but we're gonna try to be back as quick as possible.
Somebody sign their stuff and let them go home.
Wow. Really?
yeah, they did, no.
Oh, no. Well, they were lucky.
Can you assist with the signing of the paper?
Okay. Are you?
Serious. Ask me to call.
Jerry,
Carla, what was that?
can we have Jerry signing the papers for Leadership Brownsville?
Okay. Try and get all the kids in here. Yeah. Me too. No, then it falls down the thing. Yeah, sorry. Good. Okay, guys, I need a motion to reconvene.
I make a motion to reconvene.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 The ayes have it, we are reconvened.
Next item, consideration and action, if any, including but not limited to the adoption of board resolutions related to items discussed in executive session.
No action.
No action?
No action.
No action? No, nothing? Sorry, we wasted all this time.
It was not wasted. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Aye.
Adjourned. What is it?
Strategy policy.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, I read that before. You sign this one, and I can sign some stuff in here. It's just the last page here, right? It's just the last page.